Alive and alert on the north side of the dirt. It is your man D Real coming at you with another Be Real with D Real, where edutainment is what I do. Move that thing. Yeah, it's what I do. And today we're gonna be doing a recap of House of the Dragon, episode 4. As if you couldn't tell from the splash page, bruh. Before, woo, lot to talk about, lot to unpack, and we're gonna get to all of it. But before we do, I need y'all to do what you always do for me. Comment, like, subscribe, and share the Be Real with D Real page so that when new material comes out like this right here, you get first crack at it. If you're digging what a brother's shoveling, put some dirt in my bucket, comment, like, subscribe, and share to the page. All right. Where to begin? Let's just run through that episode, bruh. And I'm going to take y'all through it bit by bit, as well as I can recall it in my dome piece. My memory is not what it used to be, but it ain't that bad. When this episode opens, and that's one of my favorite parts of the whole episode. When this episode opens, we see Rhaenyra seated in a royal position, and we have a line of royal suitors stepping to her to tell them, hey, if you marry me, this is what I'm going to do for you. If you accept my proposal, this is what I got to offer you, 17-year-old girl. Well, they said it's been 5 years, so she's like 18, 17. I know she's still in her teens. Let's put it like that. And so the first suitor is like old. I mean, he like old. And I'm like, if you're supposed to marry her, ain't your job to make sure she provides you with heirs? But I know back in those times, if a man wasn't able to produce an heir, they blame it on the wife. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, bruh, he like 80 something, and he's still trying to make babies. He might not have no sperms left, or you know what I'm saying? Why? You know what I mean? So ain't nobody really tripping, so much as they are, like she ain't gonna pick him, that kind. And then after that, the previous week's episode where we were talking about King Viserys marrying Corlys's daughter, the princess, whatever her name, Princess 12 years old. Let's call her that. Princess 12 years old. Come on now, y'all. Stop that. But then this other young male suitor, steps to Rhaenyra, and he looks like he can't be no more than 12, 13. And he's telling her this, that, woo woo, this. And what I liked about it, my man stepped up with his sword, right? Like, okay, so this little dude, he telling her what he can give her, and the bottom line is, it's this dude in the back. He one of the suitors or somebody there is talking smack. Every time somebody step up and say something, he got to say like some little sarcastic remark, or you know what I'm saying? He's cutting at folks like that. So he called this little boy prince the C word, C-U-N-T. To me, that word ranks for a male. To call a male a derogatory term that describes a female genitalia. Okay? To me, that P-U-S-S-Y, all that, bruh, that's a fight. And sure enough, the man whipped out his sword, and she was like, at that point, she's like, I'm done talking to suitors. I'm out. We leaving. And so her and her party get up and leave, and you hear, swords clanging in the background, and then all of a sudden you hear somebody getting gutted, and you think it's the little boy, but you turn around and the little man like, yanking his sword up out of him like, all right, that's what you get when you selling them wolf tickets. But anyway, they on the ship. They sailing back for King's Landing. And Prince Daemon buzzes them on his dragon. Flies by, make the ship kind of tip over a little bit. Well, not tip over, but kind of do a little Bernie lane. Everybody did a little Bernie lane when he flew by, and he's coming in to meet his brother. To tell him, oh, from last week when I kicked out his ass and took all these names and basically single-handedly ended this conflict. And so he comes in with a crown. You know what I'm saying? And the king asking him, "Oh, so you wearing a crown now? You think you a king?" Like, hey, when I conquered the crab feeders, they named me the king of the narrow strait. Well, now he's got a title. How you feel about that, Viserys, with your fingers falling off and bumps and lesions all over you? But they have, some back and forth. He takes the crown off and gives it to him. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, brother, it's me. And I kicked all his butt, but I'm gonna give all the glory to you. He even gave him the crab feeder's little weapon, the one he slam in to crucify folks so they can get ate up by crabs. He even took that, you know what I'm saying, after he separated the crab feeder from the rest of his body. Big game. But anywho, they get to having a good little time and they having a party and they rejoicing and drinking. Now, go back and watch that episode when the king is drunk and him and Daemon are sitting around drunk. And Allison comes over and says to them, "Hey, would y'all like to see the new tapestries in the hallway?" And they like, the king farts. He farts, yo. Farts. And I'm like, bruh, I had to rewind. I'm like, did the king? I asked my wife, did the king fart? Listen, did he just fart? And sure enough, king farted. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow. And didn't nobody say nothing. I'd have been like, Your Grace. Smells like fresh boar. You know what I mean? Something like that. I don't know what they said back in the day for it smell like. Probably didn't say nothing because you got your head chopped off for saying some dumb shit. But anyway, after the festivity and the fun's over, Daemon sends Rhaenyra a note and tells her about a little secret passageway where he can dip and meet up, and they get together, they meet in this little passageway, and they go out into town. And she's dressed up like a boy. She's dressed up like a little page. And she covers up her hair so don't nobody recognize her, right? Bear that in mind. Now, they out here dipping and diving around, and he's showing her how the common folk live. And this is what people who are royal, we go out and do, and we rock it like this. We ain't being royal right now, but, I'm just giving you an insight into the world of the common folk. Meanwhile, I don't know, I guess King Viserys done took some extra strength Viagra or some ginseng or some maca root or something like that. And he's like, tell the queen to meet me up in here. Or he sends a servant. Like, tell the queen, I'm gonna need her to be in the bed chamber, because we getting ready to wham wham and zoom zoom. Or at least, that's what you're thinking. But I mean, like I said in previous shows, Viserys is a weak king. And he even smashed weak. You know what I'm saying? And he got all them lesions and things and bumps and bruises and pocks and things and fingers missing. And she got to lay with that. And just like you might imagine, she's laying there and she's like, oh, I am so not enjoying this. Meanwhile, we got Rhaenyra and Daemon. They go up into a brothel. They go up into a hoe house. Rhaenyra ain't never seen a hoe house before. So she asks what it is. And Daemon tells her this is a place where people go to get whatever they want. They get broke off. And then he takes her back in the extra raunchy room where they just standing up doing it, where they just right in the middle of the room doing it. Like, you know how you see people on the dance floor? It's that many couples in this room touching and feeling on each other. Oh, it's a terrible, nasty, nasty affair. Not somewhere you want to bring your niece. Unless your last name is Targaryen. And sure enough, what happens? He starts fondling, touching on her. She's with it. She wants it. She got her pants down. She's ready to go. It's go time. She like, yes, let's do it. Let's get it. I'm hot. I don't care if you're my uncle. But for some strange reason, Daemon backs off. Or at least that's what appears to have happened, that Daemon's backing off. You know what I'm saying? That he didn't go ahead and smash, because the last time we saw Daemon smashing, he had a little bit of stamina. And I can't believe we're sitting here talking about this in a video. But I mean, he didn't do it. I mean, they kissed a couple times and he fondled her a little bit, but I don't think they really smashed, you know, because Daemon got, you know, some Ron Jeremy technique to him. So go look it up. I'm not going to tell you about it. Anyways, though, and he leaves her there and just back off like, no, no. And I guess he got a streak of a moral streak attack or something and just ran off. Or maybe he was drunk and forgot where he was and who he was with and ended up doing some things or thought he did some things and didn't remember. Remember, that's going to factor in again. Now, she goes back to the castle. She forgets to put her headdress back on to cover up her hair, and she runs by a couple people, and they see her, and they go, "Is that was she doing the, you know what I mean?" And of course, this bastard finds out about it. As y'all know, if y'all been following these, I do not like Otto Hightower. He's the hand of the king. I think he's up to something. And this is the one time me and King Viserys is on the same sheet of music, but we're going to get to that in a second too. He goes in and lets the king know, oh, your daughter was up in the whole house with Daemon doing this, that, and the third. How do you know? Bring me this person and I will pull their eyes out. No, I'm just letting you know. I thought you might want to know. I'm just telling you. That's my job as the hand. And, you know, he's just like, yo, go on, get on. And Allison's in the back listening, and she runs up on Rhaenyra, and they, you know, that this ain't an action-packed episode, as you can tell, but it was a lot of drama. So her and Rhaenyra are talking. Oh, they've sold their differences up, by the way. Rhaenyra and Allison are cool again now. And now Rhaenyra is being told, oh, we heard about what you did. And she denies it. I didn't do that. Girl, I swear on my mother. She said that. That made me lose a whole lot of respect for Rhaenyra. She swore on her mother that she didn't do nothing. Technically, I guess you could say that, but in order to quench this horniness that she suddenly got that night when she came back to the castle, yep, you guessed it, she boned her bodyguard, Criston. Yeah, and it was a pretty raunchy scene. They got busy. You know what I mean? But it was TV sex. You know what I mean? TV sex don't look like real sex. I mean, I don't care. Name me a show where sex look like real sex. I haven't seen one yet. A show. I mean, it's always that. I ain't even gonna get into it. I ain't gonna get into it. I don't want to get into it. Anyway, the king is told, but the king don't confront Rhaenyra at first. He confronts Daemon. Of course, that's who you're supposed to confront. Daemon's the responsible party in all of this. And when you look at it all, once you hear Daemon talk, because he don't even deny it. You know what I'm saying? When the king runs up on him, because they bring him before the king, drag him into the throne room, leave him there drunk. King kicks him, pulls out his knife. You know what I'm saying? You are just filthy. You just nasty. Leave. Don't never come back. You know what I mean? And had the nerve to ask for the child to be married to him. Asked his brother for his daughter's hand in marriage. Crazy. Goes to the hand, of Sir Otto and de-handed him. You know what I mean? Took the little fist took that off. I'm like, beat it. You know what I'm saying? You the one that taught me to be a king, but you the one that's all nickel, slick, and slide, plotting and planning all along. And that was my thing that I said when he was like, as soon as the queen died, because he the one told her, go ahead and let him do the cesarean, knowing it was going to kill her. That's then the king's grieving. Oh, I got the perfect thing to bring to you. My daughter, she gonna come comfort you. And she came and comforted him all right, didn't she? You know what I'm saying? And then he ends up marrying her because she done started playing to him emotionally. You know what I'm saying? Was that the plan all along? Everybody's scheming except Viserys. That's why I say he a weak king. Everybody around him making moves and doing plans, but he just, he's sitting around falling apart, literally, fingers falling off and stuff, bumps and shit all over him, and won't do nothing. Won't start no trouble, won't end no trouble. I'm just here as the king. I'm here existing. That's why I say, you say Daemon, you call Daemon what you want to call him, bum, leech, hoe, whatever. When it's time to get down for the get down, whatever that is, Daemon's on it. Now, this episode ends with the Maester coming in to Rhaenyra's chambers and dropping this potion on a table next to her. What is this potion, you might ask? The best way to put it, it literally sounds like the medieval equivalent, the Westeros world equivalent of a day after potion. You rid you of some things you may not want to have. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying, ain't been a lot of testing done with that, I'd imagine. You know what I mean? And so that kind of stuff gets done to you, And so who we don't see a whole lot of? Corlys. The sea snake. We don't see a whole lot of him. But we in this episode we find out the king is tired of Rhaenyra's shit and tells her, oh, you gonna go marry Corlys' son. Because they got dragons, we got dragons, they got a navy, we can consolidate all our stuff. But because she been fighting, she don't want to be married off to nobody. And you might well say she loved Sir Criston, but he's lowborn, so she can't really link up with him. So she's, in a rock and a hard place. What's a girl doing in a situation like that? I know not. But I can tell you this much. I know Daemon up to something because Daemon was chilling with Corlys and they was making some plans. I know Rhaenyra got plans. You know what I'm saying? And if she really want to, she can execute him with that dragon. Or maybe she's just going to go ahead and consolidate. I think she's probably just going to go ahead and consolidate with Corlys and them and keep that whole thing cool because Corlys and the king ain't had words ever since he was like, nah, I ain't marrying your 12-year-old daughter. You know what I'm saying? How your feelings going to be hurt, Corlys? Come on now. She's 12 and she looked 12. I'd like to see her in like 8-9 years. Then be like, oh, I could consider marrying her now. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I think Allison's scheming with her dad, but we're gonna find out how all of that unfolds because I think Allison, she knows what she's put there for. You know what I'm saying? She knows what she's supposed to be doing. So now her family is related to the king's family, so he's dug in like a tick. But more to come. Drop it in the comments. As always, I'll be coming at y'all with another one of them other ones. And until I do, y'all be good. Be good each other.